This is Vince Russo's The Brand.
What's going on, WWT Nation? You know, it is I, the Kingpin, along with my man Pierce Austin and John Pauls. Man, today we're going to be talking about, basically Brian Kendrick, about his situation with AEW, about his cancel culture, being canceled from that organization. I think it's crazy, man. I mean,
and much more, Angel, as well. Like cancel culture, we're seeing a lot of people, not just in the pro wrestling world, but also in the entertainment world, be completely taken off there as well. We currently see with Spotify, with music artists taking their music down off Spotify because of Joe Rogan's comments and free speech and the fact that he is exclusive to Spotify. So they're boycotting Spotify because of it. So I think that would also go into cancel culture, correct?
No, absolutely, man. I mean, we're going to talk about a lot of things, but the main meat is, Brian Kendrick, but definitely we're going to spin off to other things that kind of relate to it. But I mean, but before we get our, chipping our teeth, I'm like stuttering today. Let's get these sponsors out the way. All right, and peoples, definitely check out sleeves.com, one of the best websites out there for any athletes that's looking up to step their game up. Go to sleeves.com, use promo code MWAPOD for 10% off. You get your arm sleeves, you get your headbands, you get everything that you need to make you excel. But definitely check out their dirty boxers. It's definitely the best thing on the website for me. But again, use promo code MWAPOD for 10% off and tell them WWT sent you, and it's Kingpin approved.
And guys, make sure you check out healthvape.com. All of their products are no nicotine, no addictive or harmful chemicals, and they are vitamin infused. So go and check out some of their vape and pod products. Use that promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount on your final purchase.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, dude, this whole week has been very controversial. I mean, with the Brian Kendrick situation, with Khan canceling, Kendrick from appearing, he was going to wrestle John Moxley.
Yeah, on Dynamite.
Yeah, and it's just funny, he hasn't even stepped on to even in the arena before he got fired because of a comment he said in 2013, which I think you shouldn't hold it against the guy. I mean, it's something that he said a long time ago. And it's been out there, and once again, they bring it up, and now they're saying oh, we're not about, I bet you we could find a lot of things about a lot of people in AEW that, he wouldn't even have a roster if that's the case.
Including John Moxley, if you look deep enough. But yeah, it's just crazy. Like Kendrick, not even in the league, they're like, oh, the views expressed by Brian Kendrick is not in line with AEW, so we can't use him. We're not going to bring him in. AEW wasn't even a thought in anyone's mind in 2011 when the original comments happened. Then the 2013 thing was High Spots egging him on because he's a big conspiracy nut and they want to do conspiracy and it's all fun. And you know what I mean? So High Spots was egging him on to do the show. So that's their fault in 2013. 2011, truthiscary.com, whatever that is some conspiracy theory website. I'm not even sure if he was doing a gimmick at that point because he's a little out there. I don't know if I've met him a few times. He could be a little flighty, I guess you'd say, a little fry, a little spacey, whatever you want to say. That definitely smokes, you know what I mean? So, I mean, nothing wrong with that, but he could just be a little spacey sometimes. So to me, I don't know, you never know if he's being serious, if he's kidding, if those are his real views. Even if it is his real views, AEW, this is 2022. That's 2011. That was 11 years ago. It's not you're not in line with his views. Who gives a shit? This is pro wrestling, for Christ's sake. I mean, who gives a damn about what he said all those years ago?
But that's the thing. Do you think that now, and we're seeing it happen really, that people are being judged and called out on for shit that they said 10, 15 years ago? I get it. If you fucking killed a motherfucker or you raped someone, you did someone fucking harm, or you did something illegal, then yeah, you pay that consequence. But if you said something that was inappropriate during a time in society where political correctness was out the fucking window, and let's face it, a majority of people that, celebrities or not, would be saying much worse shit in everyday life. But now we're seeing celebrities being called out on things that they were saying 15, 20 years ago, they apologize for them. But what do people expect?
It's just, I don't know. To me, I could care less about that stuff. Obviously, unless it was like rape or murder or something to do with kids, something crazy. I don't care about any of this stuff these guys say. Like Alex Jones, I could care less. I know he's a nut, but who cares? Freedom of speech. You know what I mean? I just, it's just a weird world we live in now, and they have to cancel people, and then you almost go out there looking for something. Like he's worked for WWE for years, Brian Kendrick. They didn't care, or they didn't go looking for it. These guys and these weirdo fans and these weirdo people that cover wrestling went looking for it for some reason, have some sort of grudge against Kendrick. I don't know. What did he not want to do their show or their interview? Or I don't know what is wrong with these people. It's so weird. Who gives a shit? Like, what strange individuals to go out and seek that out. And let's say WWE did know about it. Obviously, they didn't care. If they didn't know about it, they weren't going out looking for that crap. You know what I mean? You do a background check, comes up clean, and then that's the end of it. Not, oh, let's go search his interviews with truthiscary.com and highspots.com, and let's go see what he said about conspiracies and the Nazis and whatever, Sandy Hook and 9/11. Like, who cares? Like, what weirdos? Damn.
Well, I mean, the thing is that
than him.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that, I mean, in this world, everybody has a right to their own opinion. That's what makes, I'm not saying that's what makes America great. That's what makes Australia. I mean, it doesn't matter. You have a right to voice your opinion about whatever topic you want to talk about. And if somebody wants to either say agree with you or disagree with you, that's their choice. But again, you have to respect that person's opinion. If I was, for example, to say like, dude, I think George Washington is the greatest president of all times. He founded this country. He was the one that made, fought against England and all that stuff. But then somebody's going, oh, you fucking racist. He was racist. He had slaves and he did this. So is Thomas Jefferson, But the thing is, if I thought these guys were great presidents and somebody's going to go, oh, you're wrong. You're giving out misinformation. These guys were horrible. They had slaves, Jefferson slept with his slaves and, on the down low and, got them pregnant and stuff like that, and raped them or whatever. Okay, fine. That's fine. But doesn't mean he wasn't a great president. You know what I mean? I mean, back in the days, that was some type of culture. It was cultural. It was just like having a horse, a car. Again, do I condone it? No. But back then, people didn't think it was nothing wrong to own a slave, regardless of if it was from Africa or even indentured servants who came to this country and became slaves. Even Romans had that, So
even like
I don't
Bill
know.
Clinton, even Clinton, like I don't really like him or anything, but he was a good president. We had no debt under him. The economy was booming, and he's getting BJ's under the table. I don't give a shit. He was a good president. All signs point to like, yeah, I don't care.
And maybe that got him relaxed to focus on the country.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And now again, we're $1 trillion in debt. This guy had us at zero. So I mean, obviously he was doing something right.
Yeah.
Get your rocks off, get relaxed, and
there you go.
It needs to be. But we're seeing people get cancelled, and we've seen with Dark Side of the Ring, and when they did the Plane Ride from Hell episode, when they pretty much had Tommy Dreamer, cancelled, which we've already discussed on this show a couple of times, and I don't want to harp on that, but also Ric Flair and all this other stuff that's come out like 15 years after the fact. Okay, yeah, fair enough. If you force yourself on a female or on anybody, yeah, you should be called out for your shit and you should be held accountable for it when it happens. You know what I mean? Like, everyone knew what happened on that plane. It was a big fucking song and dance. It has been a big song and dance since it happened. Like, you know what I mean? Like 20 something, 19 years ago, like, or something, John. Like, at what point do we stop and we just go, okay, like, people change, people grow, people mature. Like, you think like back then Brock Lesnar was what, 20 years old, fucking around on an airplane. When people are 20 years old and the shit that they do when they're 20, like, I can guarantee the three of us, when we were in our fucking early 20s, we did some fucking really dumb shit. But if we were like on top of the world in the entertainment stuff and people had that on film and they put it out, it's like Taz's son Hook, that like a video turned up of him in a strip club with some chick bouncing her ass in his face, and he's fucking sitting there making it rain, and people are fucking outraged. And it's like, what do you expect from a 20-something-year-old kid who's fucking getting paid more money than any of his friends' fucking dads have ever seen in their whole lives? Like, you've got to sit there and go, okay, well, he's doing what young fucking guys do, but people see it and they go, that's an outrage.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree, man. It's just that it's just so weird how, but also they pick and choose. They pick and choose who they want to focus on, because, like I said, there's people that skate by, and you're wondering like how they get away. Like for example, Whoopi Goldberg. Like how did she, like saying that horrific comment? Not thinking. She didn't think before she spoke, but I mean, she makes that comment and gets suspended for 2 weeks. But then Roseanne Barr and fucking Gina Carano made some comments and they get fired. And they didn't even say anything worse than what like. Well, I don't think it was even that bad compared to what Whoopi said. So
Do
I
you
mean,
think
I
it's
just
because Whoopi's a minority?
shit. I don't know. That's just kind of hard, man. I mean, I want to say yeah, but damn, I mean, still, regardless, she still says something fucked up. I don't know how that the black shield of destiny keeps repels fucking, to get woke on, but
Yeah, but that shouldn't warrant a suspension. That's just like either you make them apologize, call them an idiot, and move on. Like suspending over, I don't know. I just think that's a little egregious. That's just too much.
well, she said it in a way like the president of ABC was like, "Hey, we're gonna give her 2 weeks so she could reflect on what she said." Like she's a kid, like a kid, like go to your room and think what you've done.
Even
Like
though she's 60, yeah,
yeah, I'm
yeah,
like that didn't make any sense. I mean, either
yeah.
they call her out and just call her out. I mean, I'll be honest. I would have rather have her stay on and have a bunch, and have a bunch of like Jewish experts, doctors, whatever, who know about
Yeah,
the
talk to
Holocaust,
her. Yeah,
and just put her on blast. Like you're an
yeah,
idiot. You're a moron.
yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're still a moron. You know what I mean? Regardless, you're ignorant. That would have been a good thing because you put her to shame and have some expert.
And teach her like a history lesson too. Yeah,
Yeah, but don't cancel her. Don't
yep.
fire her. That's just my opinion.
I mean, what about we saw, in AEW, Max Caster, he did a pre-match rap, which included references to, someone's mental health, rape allegations, fake COVID-19 PCR tests, and even, a woman's private area. And went out on AEW TV, said what he said in his rap battle, then got suspended. When this happened, my statement on that was, how can AEW suspend him? All right. Like, I get it. AEW is supposed to be the place where people get given the opportunity to go out and have the freedom with their characters and their promos and stuff like that. You send out someone like, but you don't have control what they're going to say on like a live mic on a live TV show. As a company, that's your fucking fault. You can't, you know what I mean? Like, you can blame the performer, but the company has to take liability on that as well. You don't see on NXT or you see stars, just go out there that aren't, have been doing it for at least a year or two that get that freedom.
To me, I don't know. All that stuff is crazy to me and funny because the Max Caster stuff was good television. I think his lines were great. It was a little controversial, which is perfect for a heel trying to get heat. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
The crowd was into it. I just think like that was absolutely ridiculous to spend it. I don't know, like if they felt pressure from somebody to do that, but if I was them and he got backstage after that, I would have said, first of all, hilarious. Second of all, awesome. Third of all, very controversial. Perfect for a heel. Perfect to get heat. Perfect to get over. Perfect for them to want the other guy to kick your ass for saying that controversial stuff. So to me, I think he knocked it out of the park, and that was ridiculous. He was suspended.
And the thing is that, like I said, people pick and choose of what they want to cancel. Because I remember one time, I mean, the Taz, and a situation where he had, I can't remember, but something had to do with some sexual assault at a tanning salon back in the days.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember the whole story, but I mean, right there. I mean, if you want to dig in people's past, you're gonna find something. So what makes it any different what he done or maybe he said or that's the thing I just don't understand. You canceling people that made mistakes back then, but there's still people on your roster that done stuff as well that should, same thing. They should be ashamed of, and nobody's putting them on blast.
Should
You know?
everyone bring up that Tony Khan likes to party, if you know what I mean? Quote unquote party. Like, should we bring that up all the time and get him in trouble? And you know what I mean? Who cares? Have fun.
He's the money
Yeah.
mark, man. You can't
Yeah.
give,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Go ahead, Pierce.
I was just going to say, like, as far as, canceling people for things that they've said, things that they've done, why not educate people? Like, if some young performer or entertainer or whatever goes out and says some comments which are, for what offensive in some manner, why not educate them? Say to them, this is hurtful for those comments directed at this demographic of people because of this. You know what I mean? Give them a bit of an understanding on why those comments are hurtful. Teach people. You know what I mean? Don't just sort of like toss them to the trash.
Remember, he suspended Sammy Guevara a couple years ago because he said he wanted to rape Sasha Banks. She's the hottest girl he's ever seen. Obviously,
Yeah, but he's still there.
Obviously, but I remember he was suspended. They made him do like sensitivity training or something. Obviously, he meant to say fuck and not rape. I mean, obviously that's pretty obvious, but he was trying to be funny, like throw a little thing out there, but they suspended him for it. It's just like, shouldn't that just be one of the things where like you just talk to him, be like, maybe not say that or something. He gets suspended. He said those comments when he wasn't even on the roster. So, I mean, it's just weird stuff going on.
Because they have to do that shit to save face. Like, at the end of the day, a company has to do that shit I think, to save face. It's like, okay, we're going to suspend them. We're going to send them to sensitivity training in the meantime. Then they come back. Okay, now they've been rehabilitated.
Yeah, but that's so lame, though, to me. Like, he said it years ago, even going back to Kendrick, like he said it so long ago. Like, really, you're not going to bring the guy in and use the guy? And people were saying, oh, but Paul London was liking tweets of people saying that Kendrick was a conspiracy theory nut. And London and him used to be best friends and obviously tag partners and tag champions of WWE. But who cares if he likes a tweet or whatever? Who gives a shit? That doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean you shouldn't use the guy. It's obviously those two don't get along, but who cares?
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree, man. That's the thing, is just that I don't know, man. It just like really bothers me that, either you don't want them to come on the show and you find something so you can get them canceled so they don't have to make an appearance. Because like I said before, there's just a lot of people there on the roster. And again, I'm not knocking them or anything. You could find things on anybody. Like you said, John Moxley might have, said some probably outrageous shit back in the days you could find on Twitter or Instagram or whatever. Or myself, Chris Jericho.
You forget about it.
Yeah, probably. It probably blows up. But see, I don't care, because you cancel me, you cancel me. I mean, but I won't keep quiet about it. But I mean, Chris Jericho, I can't remember. I know he said something a while back, but again, you can always find something on somebody, and that doesn't make them a bad person. It's just something that they said a long time ago and they learned from it. I don't know. It's just ridiculous to me about how sensitive everybody is now.
Too sensitive, little too much. Like, so Brian Kendrick says 9/11 stuff, Sandy Hook stuff, Nazi stuff, and like, oh, well, we got to cancel this guy. He's crazy because of what he's saying. Did he do anything physically? Did he hurt anybody? Did he rape anybody? No. So who cares? Like, okay, the guy's a nut. Does it really matter if he's a nut? Like, let's just say Tony DeVito's a nut. Oh, does that mean he should be canceled? Should be, you know what I mean? He should be suspended. Like, who cares? He's a nut. He's a nut.
I think when it comes down to, like, all right, should you be canceled because you're an asshole and you're a bad person?
Well, Angel would have been canceled a while ago then.
True. But like what I'm saying is as well, like, if you're going to be working in an entertainment business and you're going to be working for a company like WWE, and let's take Lars Sullivan, for example, when he made racist comments and stuff like that, a lot of the current roster came forward and said what they thought about it. Biggie, who was one of the main guys that came out and said some stuff about it. But it comes down to, like, if you say those comments and those are your beliefs, then yeah, you're probably not going to be welcome at a place like AEW or WWE or many other places for that matter, because people don't want to be around racist fucking assholes.
I think that's the other side of it for sure. Like, we don't want this guy in our locker room. We don't need him in our locker room. Like not Kendrick specifically, but Lars Sullivan, who said like racist stuff, and like obviously maybe the black wrestlers aren't going to be comfortable around him. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, is
Yeah.
Lars Sullivan is the money he's going to make us? Is that going to overrule a unhealthy locker room where the other wrestlers are going to be unhappy? Obviously, you got to make that determination. And it's like, okay, Lars isn't that important to us. He's not going to make us that much money. Maybe Big E and the New Day are going to make us more money. Let's make them happy. I think that's a different situation. The Kendrick thing is different, but I definitely know, like Lars, it's like, is the guy going to poison the locker room? Maybe. Is he going to piss off a bunch of wrestlers? Maybe even like, let's say Orton, who apparently was not happy with some comments that some people made. It's like, okay, let's not piss off one of our big stars either. So I think that plays a part in it too. Like, you don't want the guy to be a cancer in the locker room, because it just ruins the flow backstage. It would make the guys unhappy and make them not want to work. I mean, there's a lot of different circumstances. The Kendrick thing, I think, is different though, because it's just like, really, you're not going to want to work with this guy because he's a weirdo nut job. Like, who cares? But Lars Sullivan, I could see, because I'd be like, oh, this guy's just a flat out asshole. I'm not working with this guy.
Well, but it's funny though. I mean, okay, like you use Joe Rogan for example. They're trying to cancel him because he's giving out misinformation, which again, I don't think it's misinformation, because he's having experts on the show, and that's their opinion. He
And
has
some of it
somebody.
was proven to be correct. So that was weird. Misinformation, yet 50% is like, it's weird. Like, we don't know if it's misinformation. You know what I mean? Because it was proven to be right, some of it. So,
Well, I mean, absolutely. I mean, the thing is like, they want to cancel him. All these celebrities want to get off Spotify in regards to what he said. But again, it's not like he's not saying nothing that's not true. And he's having the experts on,
right.
these scientists, who's on the shows talking about the guys who invented certain things in regards to the COVID vaccine. And it's voicing their opinion about certain things, and they're saying that's misinformation. If I was talking about like you said, conspiracy theories, UFOs, JFK, and Lee Harvey Oswald, are they going to say, oh, you're giving out misinformation because there's no proof that the government was involved, you're putting false facts out there? No, it's a conspiracy. And I'm proving my point with topics and evidence, and still there's still no proof, but you have these like roadmaps that lead to certain things that make sense. But then what, you're going to cancel me? Now we can't have conspiracy theories about UFOs, Bigfoot, whatever creatures out there, the Jersey Devil and all that stuff. Is that misinformation? You know what I mean?
And it's funny too, as the years go by, people that say some of these conspiracies, now evidence comes out, like, okay, oh, maybe that was true. Like the JFK thing, more evidence has came out over the years. It's like, wow, something fishy went on there. You know what I mean? Definitely not Lee Harvey Oswald. So it's funny that, you could say that the person's wrong or misinformation, and years later, it's like, oh yeah, that guy was right. And it seems to be happening more and more.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Bad Pierce.
It just makes me think,
his mind is blown right now, Pierce.
The cancel culture is such a toxic thing, because it's like, it just looks for things to complain about. It's instead of cancel culture, it's actually cancer culture, because what it's doing is just it's sucking out like everything out of the world and just destroying it. And you're looking at people changing things, and you look at the WWE going over to networking, the network over to Peacock, and taking off certain things. Like most recently, The Rock's promo where he's singing about Vicky Guerrero because he makes comments about her physical appearance. Stone Cold flipping people off. 90% of Val Venus's gimmick, I would assume, has been taken off. And it starts to wonder. It's like, okay, during that time frame, that is what society was. Now you're canceling all that. You're removing that from history, because the way society is right now is like this.
Which is a shame, because you don't want to forget history and lose history and not learn history. You read it and you repeat history.
The thing is as well, like, let me take you back to this, right? So in the 1970s in Australia, there was a TV show called Kingswood Country. Okay. So Kingswood Country was a comedy series about a character called Ted Bullpit. And Ted Bullpit was an old, probably 50s to 60-year-old Aussie guy, grumpy old fuck. And he had a Greek son-in-law, and he would call him, a racial slur every episode, because in the 70s, that was the norm. It was like, that's what was just said. You know what I mean? But that's why when I watched it in the 90s, I was like spinning out because I'm going, holy fuck. Because I know, like, if you say that now, that's like a holy shit word. It was still sort of used, but it was still sort of like, you don't, not like that on like mid-afternoon television. So times change. So in 10 years' time from now, when society changes again, guys, we've removed something that happened 30 to 40 years prior because it was a little bit too risque for 2020 to 2025. But say 2030 and 2035, those motherfuckers in the future were like a while. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like, it could go, you know what I mean? Ebbs and flows, like going back that way.
Well, it's funny how you bring up that show because it sounds like All in the Family.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, it sounded like Archie Bunker.
It's probably a spinoff from that. Because a lot of shows, we get are from other countries, and then you make it our own.
Right.
But it's funny though. We're talking about Peacock and about how Val Venus and The Rock and Stone Cold. But you know what? The funny thing is, I'm paying for a service. I'm paying for a service to watch that content. That's like me buying a subscription. Well, I should ask John. He probably is familiar with the, subscriptions to the porn industry. And then they edit it. They edit they edit the scenes with the pixels. And then you're like, yo, I'm paying for a service. A service. I paid to watch this, and you're editing. You're censoring something that I'm paying for. So why is Peacock making that decision for us? If we want to watch Stone Cold flip the finger, if we want to watch Val Venus say hello, ladies, and The Rock saying the Vicky Guerrero song, you know what I mean? It's not like it's free. I'm paying for it.
Yep. And it's like if I want to watch, remember they were taking off Benoit matches for a while? Like if I paid for the full Nitros, I want to watch the whole Nitro. I don't care what Benoit did because I'm wanting to watch the damn show. Like if you want to put a censor on under the bottom, like, we're against Chris Benoit or whatever, or what you're about to watch, you could put the little warning on the bottom, whatever it is. If Goldust is doing blackface, whatever, put the warning on the bottom. But I want to see the whole complete show. I paid for it, and I'll make the assertion if it's too, risque for me, and then I'll fast forward it or I'll skip it to the next chapter. But when I was watching the Nitros, I said, fuck it. I own all the old Nitros from videotapes, and I converted them to DVDs. Like, fuck it, I'll watch my DVDs. I won't even watch the network anymore if I want to watch full Nitros, because I'm not having matches and shit cut out. This is this is not the complete show. It's bullshit.
Only John Pos would have the complete Nitro on VHS converted over to DVD.
I had every episode. I have every Nitro. Yeah.
Like you recorded it yourself?
Yeah. And then if I missed any, I would get, like, through tape trading and stuff, I would get it. And then I had a converter which converted it to DVD. So I converted all my VHS to DVDs.
Interesting.
Still got them.
Interesting. You should sell them.
No, keep them, just in case. No. Got to preserve history. Somebody's got to preserve it. Because somebody's going to be like, man, I wish we had that match that was deleted. I have it. It's not great quality, but I have it.
Man, there's a lot of what's funny is like, using Roddy Piper hitting Snook in the head with the coconut, then the next thing somebody's gonna say, hey, we shouldn't watch that promotes violence, on a white guy hitting a minority with a coconut, right. Like, and all of a sudden they take that off the air and then you won't be able to see it again. Those are the things that just really, like, what is too far, what is too far?
And should we be separating life from fantasy or whatever? I mean, these guys aren't really, Piper and Snooki didn't really hate each other either. So, I mean, isn't it kind of strange?
Next, you're going to tell me Santa Claus isn't real.
I can't confirm or deny that. Oh, he's out of here. Pierce is out of here. You know what I mean? Though, like, can't people separate it? They really can't. Like Kendrick, the wrestler from the Conspiracy Theory Nut, like they can. He should just, you know what? He should just go full conspiracy theorist and do the gimmick on TV, so people really can hate him.
But what's funny though? Once again, didn't Mel Gibson a long time ago when he went batshit crazy and he was saying shit about Jews, and stuff like that, and he said the same shit, and he's still around. And I love Mel Gibson. I'm not trying to cancel him. I'm just saying he said shit.
Do you realize that? You realize he was right? Some of the stuff he said too, which was crazy about Weinstein. And remember about Weinstein, all those guys doing all that stuff, and he was saying that the Jews were like taking over Hollywood. He meant like specific guys. I don't think he. It's funny, I guess the way he worded it was terrible, but the specific guys that he was like referring to, Weinstein, all those other idiots, etc. He was right. They were doing that shit, and he kind of exposed it. But of course, we can't say that he was right because he's nuts. So.
Yeah, and I love Mel Gibson. I think he's awesome. But
Yeah,
but again, like I said, he said stuff.
he went
You
overboard.
know,
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's in the past. And he learned from his mistakes and he pushed forward. And he hasn't said anything ever since. So what's the difference? That's what I don't get.
I
You
was always
know.
a big fan of Road Warrior and the Mad Max series. Great movies.
No, I mean, yeah, those are good. Those are good. I think those are good movies. Definitely. I think they were filmed in New Zealand or Australia.
No, I think it
I
was
filmed,
Australia, wasn't it?
I filmed in Australia. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
But
yeah,
you
great
know what?
movie.
Like I don't understand. Like for comments like we saw like being made from Brian Kendrick, like what he actually said, like because like Sandy Hook, like tell me who is Sandy Hook? Like I don't know. Like I'm from a different country from you guys, so
So Sandy Hook was when that kid, he's the son of the teacher, went in and he shot up the school, and he was, he's killing kids and he's trying to kill teachers. I guess he's
sure,
trying to get revenge on his mom or something. It was really sick case. You could tell the guy was demented. Kid was demented. Shouldn't have had guns. He had guns. I mean, he did some work. So Alex Jones and a bunch of conspiracy theory nuts say that it's completely made up. That that it really didn't happen. It was just a way for them to enforce gun control. But then if you look at the other side, there's real families here that are grieving and all this other stuff that are like, why are you saying it's fake? I mean, our kids are dead and like all this other stuff. So
yeah.
highly controversial to even bring that up or mention it. And it was a whole fight from the conspiracy theory because they thought they were trying to take the guns away. And if you say a kid shot up the school, that'll be an easy way to kind of push it in our direction where people will get on their side and say, yeah, guns should be taken away. Why did this nutjob kid have a gun? How did he get a gun? But I don't know. To me, that would saying stuff about Sandy Hook might be taken a little too far. But the conspiracy theory nuts think it was all a work.
No, yeah, I agree.
Is there
You
people
know,
trying to get Americans to hand in their guns, like to give them away, like legit?
Oh yeah,
I
of
handling
course, yeah.
shit.
Like, but that's the thing. Like, that's a different topic altogether. Like
Right.
American and gun control and,
yeah.
and stuff like that. Like, I grew up in a time like where when I was like 13, like maybe 12 or 13, where like guns were like no, like I mean, we had a horrendous massacre that happened in Port Arthur, Tasmania, and that changed like the complete gun laws and everything like that. And then even years prior with the Milpera massacre, that was like another thing that just sort of, times that were just sort of two massive events that happened like 10 years apart, which were just horrendous, which I think forced Australia to really change those gun laws.
Yeah, but again, I mean, again, I'm not knocking Australia or anything, but when I watch the massacres and stuff compared to like shit that happened here, like I'm not saying we had worse, but we still have that the rights to bear arms, and stuff like that, regardless of what happened. I mean, because there are good people out there that collect guns and
Sure.
freedom to own guns. It's just the motherfuckers out there who get guns who do not supposed to have them. You know,
Mm.
I would never put a gun in John Paul's hand. That's like giving a
He'll
alligator a
roast dinner.
fish.
Shit.
He'll go buck wild. But yeah, I have guns and it's in my house, and I'm like, I carry it sometimes. I don't carry it, but again, I mean, that's just a different topic. But again, I mean, with this society, I mean, I don't think I will ever make it in this industry if the Kingpin character was now. Because in ECW, we've done some shit, and I'm still waiting for some shit to pop up to like, you were there, because we could get canceled. A lot of people due to the fact of shit that I seen people done some stuff, and I'm like, I didn't see shit, you know. But again, everything was consensual, But of course, it was very degrading. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean, like hey, bark like a dog, which I'm not saying that happened. I'm saying squeal like a pig and walk and crawl on your hands and knees. Yeah, it was consensual. Was it degrading? Absolutely. But that was the person's choice to do that. If they came out and said, oh yeah, so and so made me do this and that, no, they didn't make you do shit. We asked you to do it and you voluntarily did it. But now you feel
Embarrassed
disrespected,
by it
or
or
yeah, or you feel like, oh, I feel guilty or something. Like there's some, like you said, VHS tapes. There are some VHS tapes out there that have some evidence of some fucked up shit that's funny, and but again, those were consensual situations. So ECW would never survive this era.
But Angel, you're a pretty like uncensored type of guy. Like, how do you, as a podcaster, as an entertainer, who comes from an era which was the wild, wild west of ECW in the 90s, how do you find now? Like, do you ever get any like fans that try and hit you up and say, I'm offended with what you said, and you said this, and blah, 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 like, fuck you, Angel? And, do you ever get that?
Nope. Because even if they did, I wouldn't care. Because you can't take anything that I don't have. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And even if you, okay, look, like again, going back to Joe Rogan, regardless of the fact if he gets canceled or not, he still has a guarantee of $100 million. You know what I mean? He's going to get paid that $100 million regardless. Johnny Depp got fired from fucking the Harry Potter movie, but he still he still got paid. You know, they asked him to leave, but he still got all of his money for the show. So, if I was, like I said, if I was in that situation where I was making money but knew I had the guarantee upside of it and didn't have to work, meaning like, oh, get my $100 million, I don't have to do shit. Fuck it. Fuck you. I'm still rich. I'm rich. It doesn't matter. But here now, if somebody calls me out, I really have nothing to lose. Do I want to wrestle again? Not really. Do I like doing my podcast? I'm not making any money from it. So you're not taking that away from me. You know what I mean? So I have nothing to lose, you know? And even if I did, I still don't give two shits because I'm
And
not
Rogan
going to.
and Rogan's got like record number of listeners too. He's got like 11 million listeners a day or something like. So yeah, Neil Young, see ya. You know what I mean? Can't do anything
Well, I
about
heard
it.
Neil Young, and then I saw an article yesterday in regards to Willie Nelson, Barbara Streisand, Bruce Springsteen. They're chipping their teeth.
So it's
Motherfuckers are
just a
telling.
political shitstorm.
Yeah,
Who cares?
yeah, fuck that, man. I mean, if Joe Rogan's numbers outweigh the people like the Bruce Springsteens and Barbara Streisand, I'm not saying Barbara Streisand is not a legend, but I mean, how many people are downloading? I mean, besides you, I mean, Yentl, watching Yentl and listening to the music, oh Father, and stuff like that. Then Joe Rogan's gonna blow him out of the water because everybody's listening to him.
Yep.
I like Joe Rogan.
Yep, me too.
Yeah. And if we could get Joe Rogan's numbers, fuck.
Yeah, and he's not doing nothing wrong. He's not spreading any false information. He's gathering information to understand what people, their opinion. Okay,
And
I
he's
see
the
your
only
point.
one that actually is having dialogue and like open conversation. These other idiots are so just closed minded. It's like, nope, it's our way or the highway, and we're gonna quit Spotify if you don't agree with us. It's like they're so totally wrong. It's ridiculous, and the fact that they don't see it is embarrassing because it's like this guy is open to have a conversation with anybody. You're closed minded and not. He's right. You're wrong. Period.
What's funny is like when he put Sanjay Gupta on blast in regards to like how is CNN telling me that I'm taking fucking horse tranquilizers, horse pills,
Right.
and that this is this drug won Nobel Peace Prize, this cured malaria, and all this stuff, but you guys are giving false information, which they were.
Yeah.
And Sanjay Gupta's just sitting there, yeah, they should have not done that. You know what I mean? He even put him on blast. And again, you don't see CNN getting canceled and giving false information and motherfuckers date bailing. It's just ridiculous.
CNN though down 70% in the ratings. I heard since Trump has been out of office, they've been down 70%, which is nuts. Which is awesome because screw them, they suck. But that's just great.
Pierce is like CNN.
Yeah, what
Sanjay,
is that? Yeah.
Sanjay Gupta? Who's that? Is that related to Sanjay Dutt? So, but I mean, I don't know. It's just, I mean, Pierce. I mean, you're a sensitive guy. Would you be able to buckle down in regards to the cancel culture? Would you like say, "All right, I'm sorry," or would you like stand your ground and say, "Fuck it, it is what it is"?
I mean, dude, I don't really say anything too outrageous or offensive, man. I am who I am. You know what I mean? I'm respectful for everybody. I don't have anything that I really hateful that I want to say. You know what I mean? Like if I have something to say, I'll give my honest opinion about it. If some people are going to be offended by that, I'm sorry you don't like what I have to say, but let's have a conversation about it. Tell me your point of view. I'm always happy to listen to what other people have to say. Educate me. But, as far as things that I say, I don't really say any offensive things because I try and be respectful of people.
Well, you did teach me some phrases
Yeah, that wasn't right.
Hey, mate, when you come to Australia, say this.
No, I did never, ever.
Go down to one of those Aborigine communities and say this word.
Fuck
Yeah.
you, man. Fuck you. I didn't say that shit. You lying.
But see, I
fuck.
love it. I relish. If I say it, I it makes my teeth white when I say it because I'm not afraid to say it, and I take the consequences with the right on the chin, because I'm not worried
Yeah,
about it.
just like a cum shot.
There you go. Now people are gonna be offended. Now you're gonna get canceled because I'm a minority. You're white. You put me down for shame.
Angel,
for
did you
shame.
ever meet Kendrick?
No, I never met the guy.
no?
Even if I did, I mean, even if I crossed paths with, I don't remember or recall. I mean, I know that he's a little eccentric, and London is a little batshit crazy.
Yeah, London's nuts too.
Yeah,
I mean, they're both super nice, but they're both crazy in their own unique way.
Well, I mean, that's what I heard, and that's just the funny thing. So that's why I was just curious how
they're both kind of fried. You know what I mean?
They probably smoked a lot of weed together. They were acting partners.
Ridiculous amount. Yeah, I actually years ago, Steve Carino used to do a tour, a part of 01, but he brought it to the States called World One, and they ran a bunch of small shows. They hit great cards like Loki, obviously Carino's on it, Spanky's on it, Brian Kendrick, Just Incredible's on it. So
back you never called me that motherfucker.
Yeah, he should have. So back then I was kind of carrying Incredibles bags legitimately. I would drive him around. I was trying to, break into business, do some training with PJ and stuff, just, driving the shows, stuff like that. So he'd take me backstage sometimes, and then we'd be walking through and he'd introduce me to stuff. And I was like, wow, oh, that's, Brian Kendrick. He's like, oh yeah. So he introduced me to Kendrick, super nice guy, but you could tell, I mean, he's definitely a little fried. Even then, I mean, we're going back like 15 years or so. Yeah, maybe even more than that. He's a little fried. He's a little crazy, but nice guy. Super, super nice guy. I had a nice conversation with him. It's one of those things where let's not take everybody's position or whatever they say so seriously, maybe. Because he just seems like, he's like a fried, kind of happy-go-lucky, maybe crazy guy. Who cares? He's just a nutty guy.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough.
Let's back off the guy a little, right? And I just can't believe that Angel wasn't booked for those shows.
No, I mean,
that's an outrage.
They don't want brothers on the show. Any brothers on the show?
No, I don't think so. Wait, actually, let me think. Oh, Homicide.
I said a brother.
Well, he counts.
Anyway,
come on, he counts.
He's about as much of a brother as you are, brother.
I know, it's true. I guess.
No, it's Homicide. That's good. But like anyway, but regardless, I mean,
yeah, he's true. He's not really. That's true.
I mean, like I said, man, it's just Kendrick. I just don't think he should have been canceled. I don't have nothing against the guy. I really don't think he said anything wrong. It's old shit, He said he was sorry, of course, and he did say it was back then. He just, he made a mistake. He should not have been pulled off the show. I mean, regardless, he's a performer. He's he's there to perform. And again, you never know if he was in character. And I don't know. So it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's another thing. Was he doing a gimmick?
Yeah, I mean, how do you know if it wasn't a part of the gimmick and shit? And motherfuckers is just, I don't know. It just gets me dumbfounded when I see things like that. Like, who's next? Just Incredible. Lance Storm. Again, Taz.
Yeah, I mean, but what, we're seeing people getting called out for actions as well. Like, I mean, look at Mr. Anderson, aka Mr. Ken Kennedy, Ken Anderson, whatever name you want to go by. He was recently called out for scamming students at a wrestling school.
Wow, didn't even realize.
What? He was. Oh wow!
They took their money and just never told him anything about training, and was trying to sign a 3-month lease while telling people he was looking for a long-term lease, and allegedly.
That school has been around for a while. Him and Davari are running that school for a while.
But once again, the same thing with I mean, again, I'm not putting PJ on blast, but I mean, I heard some stories that he gets the money and never shows to shows. So again, is that a canceled thing?
I mean, he's a scammer then, really, because if he's taking money, he's scamming people, right?
Well,
like, I don't know him. I don't want to accuse him, but if he's like taking money from people and no showing, like that, he's ripping them off.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. That's the problem. Is just that again, what is it? When's enough's enough? When are we going to stop pointing fingers and to keep like people still have to support their family. I mean, again, he's not regardless of like a white supremacist. Yeah, I could see that happening. Like cancel that motherfucker, and stuff like that. But like I said, people just voicing their opinions, and that's what it is, an opinion. Respect it. If you don't like it, change the channel. That's your power. But you think, look at Dave Chappelle. He hasn't been canceled. They tried to, and they couldn't do it. So what's the fucking difference?
Yep.
He said a fact, but then they say that's misinformation.
Idiots. Because they disagree with him. Fucking idiots.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. They disagree with him, and he, and then they say like, I mean, even what J.K. Rowling from the Harry Potter book, how with the shit she said, and she's a fucking woman.
Yep.
She's a fucking woman, and Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner, won Woman of the Year, and she was only a woman for 1 year. She out-trumped all the women had been Women of the Year for a very long time, and now suddenly, he chipped his teeth about that, and then all some people are like, that's ridiculous, that's an outrage, that's so disrespectful, bitch. He was only a woman for a year, and he hasn't done anything besides do what he did or she did, whatever, But I like Caitlyn Jenner. I think, I like his or her views in regards to stuff. Regardless of what she's doing, she still has some valid points. So a very interesting person. But anyway, regardless, I mean, Pierce, what do you think? I mean, do you think it's going to get worse or is it going to get better? Do you think it's just going to take, like we're going to be like the movie Demolition Man, and every time we curse, a little piece of paper will come out the wall, and it's a ticket, and we get fined?
That movie is awesome.
But somebody brought. I'm sorry, Pierce. Before you say something, I was just saying. Before somebody brought that up as a conspiracy, not a conspiracy, but like how that shitty ass movie back then is becoming actual reality now, and it's just weird. I mean, it was okay. I didn't like it that much, but anyway.
Are you crazy?
Yeah, Pierce, go ahead. You call me crazy, you're gonna get a ticket.
I think we're probably gonna like see more of it for the next couple years. Really, like. We've seen it heavily in the wrestling business, and it's funny because you see a lot of people now that are like, there's certain angles that they can't do because they're in fear of being cancelled, in fear of being pushed back. And I think there's so much opportunity now to do some risque stuff in pro wrestling. And I think you could still do it and tell a good story with it. But I think a portion of the audience won't allow storylines to be played out, if that makes sense. Because now, like, social media has such a voice. And like the good thing about social media is everybody has a voice. The bad thing about social media is everybody has a voice. So me personally, I think it's inevitable that it's going to get worse, but I think what more can you possibly do? Like, how much more can you go through before people just go, fuck this, enough's enough, and just don't care anymore?
Good point.
Like, at the end of the day, just be a good fucking human being. Like, is that too much to you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, I don't think being a good human being and treating people with like common decency and respect is a hard thing to do. I don't think we need a cancel culture or anything like that. Don't be inappropriate. Don't say like racist comments and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, why would you put something out there which was hateful and hurtful? To me, that's not the sort of person that I am. So I don't put that shit out there in the universe.
So just curiosity, and I'm just asking this opinion. So what is worse, the words or the action? Meaning, look at Stone Cold in his domestic violence situation, but he was never canceled. Nobody brought that up. Is the actions, is your words worse than what you're doing? Because there's a lot of things that a lot of people have done, and still nothing has happened. But when you say something.
I'm sorry, Angel, cut you up, but even look at the other biggest name ever. He got Austin, doesn't get canceled. He really did get in trouble twice for domestic violence. Hulk Hogan says stuff, so the words get him canceled, get him trouble. He said racist stuff, even though he's 70 years old, grew up in a different time, different era, and that's the way they spoke. And he's from the South. Just to put that all in perspective, I know I'm not making.
And he has friends that are black.
And I was going to say, but his actions tell you really good friends with, God knows, Mr. T. Dennis Rodman is his best buddy. Shaquille O'Neal is his best buddy. So his
Booker
actions
T.
would tell you, Booker T. He helped Booker T and Stevie Ray get a huge push in WCW. Like
They were
so many
calling for
different.
him.
Yeah, well, yeah, that too. But the thing is, it's like, okay, his actions tell you otherwise. Oh, but his words. But Austin was the exact opposite. I don't know. Just, to me, I think it's the actions more than the words. And people are crying about the words. Sticks and stones may break my bones. The words
And
are
then the
never.
thing is, remember when Vince said when he did the John Cena thing, is like, keep it in the hood, my neighbor, and
Yeah, yep.
and then when people called him out on, but that was just acting. That was just acting. But he
And
didn't
Booker
get
T was
canceled.
standing right there. It's like, yeah.
Angel, let me ask you like this. You and me are pretty good friends, right? Like we've known each other for a while. How would you feel if like
acquaintances?
But how would you feel like if you heard people were going to you and saying, "Hey man, Pierce is making Puerto Rican jokes and like making joke." Yeah, I don't know. But to your face, I wouldn't be saying it, but to other people,
I don't care.
Okay.
I mean, I really don't care, dude. I'm from an era where my wrestlers are supposed to have a tough skin, man. If you say black jokes or racist jokes and you don't feel comfortable saying it around me, but you say it behind the scenes, I'd be like, man, bro, I thought we were boys. I beg you to share some of these jokes with me. I mean, I don't take offense to these things. I'm not sensitive. I mean, if I don't like you, of course, if it's somebody I don't know and they start chipping their teeth and saying like racist things behind my back, then yeah, that's a different story. But if it's somebody I know and they just like, I mean, DeVito, perfect example. That motherfucker says shit off the chain all the damn time, but I don't take offense to it. Never, never, never. I hit it back. I mean, like I said before, I mean, we can't get any worse than me and what DeVito said. Like when a perfect example, I know I brought it up in the past, but the pay-per-view where I got set on fire and they wanted to put DeVito in the flaming table, but that same week his dad passed away from cancer. And I think he was cremated. But anyway, and they were like, oh, well, DeVito, you're going to go through the flaming table, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, well, why don't we, what's better, to have Angel go through the flaming table? Because last week on TV, he put Balls Mahoney through the flaming table. So it should be, like his revenge on Angel. And I just turned to him and I'm like, okay, why should two DeVitos get cremated in 1 week? And he was like, motherfucker, fuck you, bitch. And he, but again, it's just us, man. We have tough skin. We say things that, like when somebody dies and, DeVito calls me and goes, yo, did you hear so-and-so died? I'm like, nah, you next. So I don't cry about it. See, it's just, my mindset is different, man. So that's the problem with wrestlers nowadays. We don't have tough skin.
That's a huge problem too, because me and my buddy were supposed to be working with this guy, and me and the guy got along great, but my buddy didn't want to work with him because he was too mean. But he talked the same exact way to me as him. So I'm thinking to myself, I was like, it's definitely sensitivity issue and how you're taking it. Like, it's not offensive, has nothing to do with you. It's just the way the person is. Like, you just got to be able to handle that. I remember when I was younger, my God, I had a football coach. If there was like parents nowadays that were around back then, they'd be like, oh, this guy needs to get canceled just the way he talked to us. If I dropped a pass, he's like, you couldn't catch herpes in a whorehouse. Like, like it's funny stuff like that, but I'm sure he'd be canceled today for stuff like that. But instead of getting upset, you just play better. And, and then he kind of turned around, but it's just a different way. I think it's the approach of the way people are thinking about it, the way they're taking it. They're way too sensitive. Don't take it personally. Just relax. It is what it is. Like, have tough skin or don't have thin skin.
Thanks a lot, John, for putting out that conversation I had with you about Angel the other week. I really appreciate that, man. Putting our business on the street like that.
Whoops. He's Angel's too mean.
But I don't know. Like I said, man, it's just it. I mean, there's more to come. I mean, I don't think this is the end. Somebody's gonna get called out. I mean, I just think it's enough's enough, man. We should get back to normal.
Should we start calling out Russo for all the bad storyline ideas that he had back in the day? Should we do that now? Should we cancel him for that? What do you think?
I don't know. I think he would get fired. It depends. You like being on the brand, mate?
No, I'm just kidding. I just like how ridiculous some of the stuff is. That's essentially what it is. You know what I mean? Like Kendrick, if he's doing a gimmick, we're really going to be mad at him. It's wrestling. Who gives a shit? Even if he really did say that crazy conspiracy stuff, he's still good in the ring. Still a good wrestler. He still might gain interest because he was on WWE TV for 20 years or whatever it was. I mean, many years, former tag champion. So do you want to weigh out the good, or you want to be like, oh, even though the guy has credibility, he's a really good wrestler, he has cachet, we won't use him because he doesn't believe in 9/11. Like, really?
It's fucking wild. But
Conspiracy
gentlemen,
theory.
I think it's time that we ride off into the sunset. Another great episode in the books. Next week, we got another great episode for everybody. Make sure you go and get an exclusive first look at every single episode of Wrestling with Tragedy by subscribing to russosbrand.com, channelattitude.com, and patreon.com/RussoTWC. But Angel, let's give our sponsors a bit of a plug before we head off into the sunset.
Well, before you go into that real quick, hey John, how do you spell apology?
APOLOGY. Apology.
Okay, because Pierce put Kendrick's apology with 2 P's. Anyway, let's get these sponsors out the way. That's not Australian. That's an Australian word. Apology.
Take it away.
Oh, okay. HealthFaith, definitely check out healthfaith.com. It has everything that you need in regards to getting your health on, your energy, your vitality, your boost. If you're into vaping and you're not into like the nicotine and stuff like that, this is the best thing for you. Definitely benefit from healthfaith.com. It's definitely Kingpin approved. Tell them WWT sent you. Use promo code MWAPOD for 10% off. I'm telling you, it's the greatest product out there. It definitely has a lot of health benefits. Oh no, there's that misinformation. Check it out, healthfaith.com.
And also, guys, check out sleefs.com. That's SLEEFS, sleefs.com. If you or someone you know is an athlete, you need to check out Sleefs. They have armbands, compression pants, headbands, knee pads, knee straps, I should say, boots, mouth guards, and they even have dirty boxes. So guys, go and check out their dirty boxes. Use that promo code MWAPOD and get a 10% discount on your final purchase. Sleeves.com.
All right, man.
Angel.
Well, like I said, I don't think this is going to be the last time we talk about this. I mean, I know there's something's going to be popping off eventually, but there's always material in regards to this cancel culture. So tune in. We're going to see some shit popping off eventually. Maybe my Taz thing might bring up something and he get fired. Brother, it's fucked up. It's fucked up, brother.
So guys, wherever you're finding us, make sure you click that subscribe button, hit that share button. John, Angel, it's always a pleasure. Till next time, I'm Pierce. This is Two Man Power Trip, John Pos, and the Colonel Kingpin, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Peace
out.
This is Vince Russo's The Brand.